You don't lack confidence. You lack something and it shows. The problem is no one's telling you what it is. You felt it, that moment where you hesitate, where you second guess, where something just feels off. Not because you don't care, not because you're not capable, but because deep down, something's missing. You can feel it. And the worst part, you can't explain it. You just feel it every time it matters. And you think the problem is confidence, but you're wrong. You're solving the wrong problem. I'm Josh, the sales guy, and this channel is about sales, influence, and mastering the craft. Today, I'll show you what's exactly holding you back. Everyone wants to win. Make more money. Be better at the craft. Be seen as the one who knows what they're doing. But that's not where you lose. You lose way before that. You lose in the moment where you hesitate and you didn't even understand why. You lose in the silence when you know you should say something and you don't. You lose when it matters most because something underneath all of it isn't there. And until you fix it, you'll keep losing in the moments that matter, no matter how good you think you are. I once had a trainer, and something that they told me is always stuck. They said, if you can't be good, be there. And if you're going to be there, be early. And at the time, I didn't think much of it. It sounded basic, like beginner advice. But the more I watched people, the more I realized how many salespeople couldn't even do that. They'd show up late, distracted, and sometimes they wouldn't show up at all. And then they'd wonder why nothing worked. So yeah, just being there already separates you, but not for long. Because getting there, that's just the price of admission. It doesn't get the job done. The real question is, what do you do once you've arrived? That's where most people do get it wrong. They think showing up is the job. So they show up and they wing it. They rely on figuring it out. They tell themselves, I've done this enough. I'll adjust when I get there. I work better in the moment. And here's the part that traps them. Sometimes it actually works. They get by. They'll get results, but just enough to believe that they're doing it right. But pay attention to what happens next. When that moment matters, they slow down, they hesitate, and they second guess. They start searching for the right thing to say. And they feel it. That same feeling you might have felt before. They don't call it what it is. They call it nerves. They call it pressure. They call it a tough situation. But that's not what it is. They showed up without doing the work. And that creates uncertainty. And here's what actually is happening. That hesitation, it's not a confidence problem. It's a feedback problem. Your brain is checking for proof. And when it doesn't find it, it pulls back. That feeling that you call nerves, that's your brain saying, I don't trust this yet. So what do? You try to compensate. You talk more. You rush. You push. You try to convince because you're not convinced. Does that sound familiar? That's why it feels off. Not because you lack confidence, because your actions aren't backed by certainty. Let me make this uncomfortable. If it feels hard in the moment, you didn't prepare enough for the moment. If that's the problem, then this is the fix. Not theory and not motivation. What actually fixes it. Number 1, stop delaying the work. Stop delaying the work because unfinished work doesn't just sit there. It follows you. It shows up when it matters the most. In your voice, in your pace, in your hesitation. You don't rise to the moment. You fall to what you've prepared for. And if you didn't prepare, you felt that. Number 2, full effort or don't expect results. Here's the truth. People don't measure your effort. They feel your certainty. And half effort feels like doubt. Even if you say the right things, it lands wrong because you're not fully behind it. Number 3, sharpen your axe off stage. Everything that matters happens before you ever show up. Study, review, practice. If you're struggling to explain it, then you don't understand it. If you rush, you're unsure. And if you push, you don't even believe it. And the buyer, they feel that instantly. Number 4, daily improvement, not hype. This isn't motivation. That fades. This isn't energy we're talking about. That fluctuates. This is discipline. Quiet, consistent, relentless. Even when no one sees it, especially then. Here's what most people never understand. Preparation doesn't just build skills. It builds belief. And belief is everything. Because belief can't be faked. Not when it counts. It shows up in how you sit, in how you pause, in how you don't feel the need to convince anyone. Because you're already convinced. And that only comes from one place. Evidence. Not hype, not affirmations, not all figured out. It comes from one thing. Doing the work required to be great. I had a mentor tell me something early on that stuck. If you can't be good, be there. And over time, I've had to add to it. Now I say if you can't be good, be there. And if you're going to be there anyway, you might as well be prepared. Because showing up isn't enough. You already are in the room. You're already in front of the customer. You're already in the moment, in that opportunity to make something great happen for everybody. If you want the result, earn the right to get it. Most people think it's confidence. It's not. Confidence is just the signal. And when it's missing, it's telling you something. You didn't do the work. So don't try to cover it up. Don't give more energy and do more talking and just keep pushing. All you're trying to do is create certainty that you haven't earned. And if it works, it's only going to work until it matters. When they've got real questions, when they really want to know something and you can't give answers. That's when it shows in your hesitation, when you rush, when something's off. It's not nerves. It's the truth leaking out. You walked in without evidence and your brain knows it. So will your buyer. Before you talk about closing more deals, before you talk about making more money, before you try to get better, fix that part. Be ready. Get prepared. Know your product. Understand the objections that are going to be coming your way. And be able to present your product in a way that shows that you know what you're talking about. Because if the work wasn't done up front, nothing can save you in those moments. If this talk just hit you, don't ignore it. Drop a comment. Let me know where you've coasted in the past. And be honest, not for me, but for you. I read every comment and would like to know your story. If you're serious about getting better, subscribe. Because everything here is about one thing, doing the work most people avoid. I'm Josh, the sales guy, and in this profession, there are only two options: improve or die trying.